The Chinese yuan has increased its share of global payment, while the US dollar reserve shows a fall only in this year. Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent and issues that impacts Africa. Yeah, so today we are going to talk about why this yuan or the Chinese yuan is increasing in the global in its global payment share, while the US dollar reserve is falling down. And what does this mean? Yeah, so let's get into it. As usual, I like to share my slides while I explain as an evidence to back up my reasonings. Okay. So yuan's share as a global payment has increased. Now, what are the demonstration or the testimonies for this? There's an increasing share of yuan in global payment in general. It shows nearly a double only in this year, in 2023, from January to October. Now, this increase of yuan's in terms of global payment is unremarked. It's like seemingly a deliberate action by the international media, because the world is so much focused on the domestic growth of China, as if China don't have influence on the outer world. And also yuan has become as a vehicle for the nations, various countries' geopolitical ambitions, as they look for alternatives from the Western part. There are different requirements by the Western world or the US-led West and their financial institutions in terms of to get a loan or to enter to a trade, to have that equal share, a fair trade of transaction. There is a lot of obstacles, so nations are increasingly looking for an alternative. And where do they land in? They are landing on yuan. As you know, the Ukraine-Russia war has made even Russia to depend on Beijing. Now, how this is perceived by the West, okay? Let's see. Now, this is, of course, as I said, it's a seemingly deliberate action. How they are ignoring yuan's influence or its increase in the global payment. It's ignored totally. The yuan as a vehicle for the nation's geopolitical ambition is getting sidelined. Why? This is like the tapering enthusiasm for the President Xi Jinping of the $1 trillion Belt and Road initiative. Okay, this is how they are sidelining it, and the same thing is happening to this. But this might be, a huge mistake, because the increasing of this yuan's, making the payment in yuan in the global payment it seems that it's getting its momentum now. There's, according to a South African analyst, Alicia Garcia Herrero, on her article in the Financial Times, here is what she said. A weak renminbi is another name of yuan. I will explain the difference. A weak renminbi has achieved something quite impressive in 2023, a fast increase in its cross-border use, according to a South African economist, Alicia Herrero, in her article in the Financial Times. Now, US dollar have still that huge global payment share, 47%, and still far ahead, but you cannot ignore the increase of yuan in its global payment. We see that its share of payment was 1.9% in January. Now, in October this year, 3.6%. Now, this is almost a double, okay? Now, could this be the starting point of the most serious challenge? That's something that others have to take a note. Now, what are the reasons for yuan's rise in global payment? Now, before I go there, let me just explain, for those of you who don't know the difference between renminbi and yuan. So renminbi is the official currency of the People's Republic of China, and means actually it people's currencies. That's what it means in their language, in Mandarin. Now, a yuan is a unit of the currency. Now, the most popular analogy for this is, like the British pound sterling versus the pound, if you see that. So renminbi is the name of China's currency, just as sterling is the currency of Britain. Okay, now having said that, let's go to now what are the reasons that are outlined for yuan's rise in global payment. So these are, one, the China's action of the currency swap with 30 plus countries as a bilateral agreement. And the other one is Chinese banks are increasingly lending overseas in their local currency, which is, which works perfectly for these developing countries, or for those cheaper for borrowers because of high US interest, when there are all high US interest rates. Okay, so this is the best alternative. It's not only geopolitics in terms of price, also in terms of the paying price, also it's a low interest rate. And as well, most of the things, the trades happen with China, and why making it in the US dollar or euro while you can make it in yuan? Countries can swap their currencies. So that made it easier, and it's a major factor for the increasing or for the rise of yuan in global payment. Now, the next reason is that Russia's war in Ukraine, and the Russia-Ukraine war, let's put it that way, and the subsequent Western sanctions are providing, the backdrop by making Moscow totally dependent on Beijing. Now, not only this made Russia to depend, Moscow to depend on Beijing, but also where Moscow is having that international trade is depending or forcing those countries to make payment in yuan. Now, some of the countries are not welcoming this, and one of them is India. Let's read this out. Now, the state-owned refiners in India are being pressured by Russian oil suppliers to pay in the Chinese currency. This demand is totally unacceptable for the government in New Delhi. You can imagine, the tension, given the tension between India and China being the global influential, those global powers in the southern part, in the global south. You can imagine how this is perceived by India. But also you see their tension in BRICS, in terms of having that BRICS currency. Many have anticipated prior to the 15th BRICS summit in South Africa that probably China's yuan currency will be picked. But India was not ready for that, and there was also one other country in it, but India mainly because India thinks their rupee is stronger, or they want to make their trade with their own currency as well. So that is now that is the analysis why the yuan is getting stronger in terms of or increasing in the global payment share, still lower when you compare it with US dollar, but to have that double increase from 1.9% in January to 3.6% in October, that is That's huge, that's significant. So this means also, for there's something called that's coming up from BRICS, a BRICS pay, which I'm gonna do another video for it. A BRICS pay, it's an alternative for SWIFT. As you know, when the US something happens, they punish, just like they punished Russia by alienating it totally, excluding it from SWIFT payment system. Now BRICS is coming up with its own alternative of payment method called BRICS Pay, that's gonna replace, not replace, but a competitor of SWIFT payment method. So now for that, this BRICS Pay, probably the increasing of yuan in the global payment share will make its path, or will pave the way for yuan to be a currency, to do, to be able to do a BRICS pay, to use a BRICS pay. So that's where, now Africa comes into the picture, and being Africa in the global south, now this is how it will impact us. Positive or negative, I'll leave it to you. Please comment in the comment section and we will take it further. But now, why do I say that the US dollar reserve is falling down? Let's listen to this, and we come back.
Is the US dollar losing its dominance as a global currency reserve? Take a look at this next report to see the transition of global central banks over the past year.
As we head into 2024, the dynamics of geopolitics is at the core of global markets. So far, America has imposed sanctions against countries to cut them off from the global payment systems and dollars. This has many countries looking at alternatives to the dollar. The latest International Monetary Fund's data shows a decline in the dollar's share in global central banks' foreign currency reserves. The data shows the dollar's shape is down to the lowest in the September quarter since the final 3 months of last year. The extensive use of dollars in international commerce, particularly for commodities and energy, has helped the greenback over the years. The dollar has been the preferred reserve currency for the majority of the world's central banks. However, the dollar has been progressively losing its dominance since 2000, when its share was above 70%. The US currency's share is down to 59.2% in the September quarter, the lowest since it fell below 60% last year. The euro's share in the reserves also fell slightly, while the Japanese.
So it's, as you've seen, that's how, figure-wise, the dollar reserve is falling down. Okay, so now I want you, as always, I like to leave here by posing those questions. What do you think of this yuan's increasing its share in the global payment? What does it do for Africa, and then the falling down of the US dollar reserve, but particularly on the yuan? What can Africa learn from this? Please share your thoughts in the comment section and we take it further. Thank you very much again for tuning in, and please don't forget to be a family, to subscribe to the channel and smash that notification bell so that you get notified whenever we have new videos or live streamings. And if you like what we bring you here, please give it a like and then share the video as well. That will mean a lot for us. Let's empower each other with information and knowledge. But if you want to help us further, then go to the description section, or I will pin it in the comment section. We have our PayPal account. You can donate there any amount that you like. So thank you very much again. I will see you on the next one. It's a bye-bye for me now.